Say hi, Princess. Say hi. Meow meow. Hey guys, how are you today? I hope you're doing really well. I'm tired, and there's no reason why I should be tired. I went to sleep last night at a decent, well, sort of decent hour. It was before midnight because, you know, raid ended at 11, and then it takes a few minutes to get to the vendors and offload the stuff you don't need and the junk and repair your gear. And then I think I did some world quests after that just because they were up and I needed to get them done, you know, and one had a great gear slot, so, you know, I increased my eye level there. But anyway, so I want to pretend like I went to sleep at a decent hour, but maybe I didn't. I'm so tired. And Princess has arrived. She has heard me talking to y'all, and so she is coming to make herself very well known. I really wanted to come home and take a nap, but instead I'm talking to you. So there's that. How are you guys doing? Did you make it through your week? Did you manage to get a little crafting done, soothe the old soul with a little bit of crafts? I managed it, just a little bit, but we did do some stuff. So let's get rolling with the progress report. As per usual, the main stitching that I have been working on has been a redo of Be Your Own Kind of Beautiful. This is a Lizzie Kate pattern, and I am stitching it for the Stitch and Give. That will be at the Arizona Stitch Nanigans Retreat in Chandler, Arizona, coming up here in April. I am stitching it 1/2 on a 40 count. Picture this plus linen. It's either Bashful or Bliss. I don't remember which one, but you know, I should probably get into my bin of Wonderful and read the label that's on the rest of this fabric, because I certainly didn't use all of the fabric for this. But I'm using the called for fabrics, not the called for fabrics, the called for flosses, and they're turning out really, really quite nice. So I think this week I added the butterfly and the purple flower, then the bee and own, and maybe I filled in the ND and the of. I can't remember exactly where you guys saw it last, but a little stitch here and there every day and it'll get done. I could be super crazy and try to get it done at work this week, but I don't know that I will. I don't know that I'm going to press it that hard, so that's okay. So that is what I have been working on. Hold please while I go grab what I'm planning to work on at work when I get this done. So just hold. I know the next project that I want to work on at work, and this is the See You Later pattern from Happiness. She is an Etsy seller, and so it goes through See You Later Alligator, After a While Crocodile, Bye Bye Butterfly, Be Sweet Parakeet. Anyway, you guys can read that for yourselves. So I think I want to work on this for my darling nieces for their Christmas present this year. It's absolutely darling, and we go through a whole several of these when we part ways after the girls have been visiting or I've been over visiting them. So this is really what I want to work on. And this weekend when I'm in Vegas with BFF Lisa, we're going to stop by Stitcher's Paradise, so I'm going to look for some fabric for that. You'd think in my stash of fabric that I would have one that's big enough. The main problem is it's really, really long. So I could do it on a smaller count, but I think I really want to do it on 14 count so it's easy for the girls to read and they can see it instead of doing on something really, really small. So that is what I have planned. I watching the cat. I don't know if you can hear her or not, but she's puttering around doing her little cat things. So that's what I have planned. And I rarely show you guys my plans because I rarely stick to the plans, so we're really going to have to see how that goes. So that is all I've got for cross-stitching right now, and I'm going to reset everything here in a minute, and I will be back with Oh Yarn. This week I worked on 2 projects, so well, we'll just start with one of them. The first I'm going to show you is the Impressionist MKAL by Helen Stewart. This was put on last summer, and it looks really nice and pretty. The lace section down there looks like it'll be enough of a challenge, but not too bad of a challenge for me. So, you know, just stretch my little newbie skills a little bit and see how I do with that. I've read through them, and there's not anything in there that I really don't know how to do. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's put that there. And here is where I am. You can see my little, Pansy Project Progress Keeper right here. So I did 6, 7, 8, I don't know, maybe 10 or so rows back and forth of garter stitch. Sometimes I work on this while I'm waiting for videos to upload. We know how that goes. You turn it in and you set it to go, and it scrolls and scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. Luckily mine doesn't take too long. It might only take an hour or so, but I'll sit back there at the computer just kind of knitting away back and forth as I wait for everything to load and make sure that it's mostly okay. Granted, I don't really wait and see what it is. So the yarn I'm using is a fingering weight yarn from Wrap and Turn, and they are just an Etsy seller, and so they had a nice set of 3 yarns. This is Bramble on, and it's more pinky with the speckles. This is Mountain Laurel, and it's softly pink with no speckles. And then the purpley color is going to be this this purple color, and it's called Baba Ghanoush, and it does not have speckles. So that those are my plans for that one. Just sort of work on it a little bit at a time, a little here and there. So there we go. All right, we're going to pause while I shuffle again. So the other project that I worked on quite a bit is the Mountain Cowl. This is from Knitting Pure and Simple, and it is a free pattern. You can find it on Ravelry for all of those of you who do Ravelry. Let's put that right here. And I am done with the number of repeats that the pattern calls for. And I am really quite pleased with this. The pattern called to cast on 120 stitches. I cast on 180. You can cast on multiples of 10. So I thought 120 was just a little too tight. Now I'm a little worried that 180 might be too much. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do there. And also, this is a Yowza skein from Miss Babs in the colorway Cultured Pearl. And I still have almost half of the skein left, so I'm trying to decide if I just want to keep going, repeating the pattern until I'm almost out of yarn. That would just make it nice and deep, probably almost twice this deep. You know, add another 8 repeats of 8. Is it 8? Yeah, another 8 repeats of the 8-row lace repeat. That's not confusing at all. It's an 8-row lace repeat, and I want to repeat those 8 rows 8 more times. Anyway, so I'm trying to debate on whether or not I want to do that. I might put this on like a longer wire, a longer cable, and you know, just put it on, put it around, kind of get a feel for how it's going to drape around my neck. See what I think is really what it comes down to. So that is what I have been working on. Can we have a random discussion about how I don't like garter stitch? I don't like garter stitch, you guys, which is really funny because for my 2 projects that I'm working on, while I put this away real quick, this is all knit stitches. Knit back, knit forth, back and forth, back and forth. You do a little, you know, something different here on the edges, but garter stitch is all knitting, back and forth, back and forth. This is practically all knitting too, because I'm not doing any purling. There's some yarn overs and knit two togethers to get the eyelet lace going, but this is all 100% knit. And I tell you what, I hate working on this. Not because the pattern's hard or difficult, it's I hate garter stitch. I'm much happier with this monster with the stockinette stitch that's going on. It's really weird because I'm not doing anything fundamentally different, you know, knit, 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 knit. And it takes like pulling my teeth to work on this one, whereas I'm happy to work on that one, which is why it's practically done. Although if I do bind off where it is now, that means I get to cast something new on. I know, right? So, there is my dilemma. Do I add more to this, or do I cast it off so I can cast on something new? And why do I not mind knitting in the round when I'm making stockinette stitch, when I hate 100% knitting and garter stitch? I don't know. I'm going to reset. We'll be right back. A few yarny things did arrive in the mail because apparently I'm crazy. We'll just put it at that. So, you know I'm addicted to Miss Babs. It's so wonderful because she's like instant gratification. She puts in her shop what she has, you can buy it, it's here in 2 days with, express shipping or whatever that is that the one place, I know that's so descriptive, the post office has. So anyway, she put up this beautiful colorway. This is a Yummy 2-ply fingering weight yarn. It's called Ladies First. Pink, softly pink with some nice beautiful purple speckles in it. Really light, and that just really, really appealed to me. Miss Babs just released a set of winter, her winter 2009 pattern collection. And there is one called Urchin in there that just really appealed to me. So textury, so, you know, it looks really, really interesting with little bobble stitches and texture and some stockinette. And so I really wanted to do that, and I was reading through the thing and it said, you know, you need 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. And so that's why I bought 2 of these, because I'm absolutely positive that in my stash of Miss Babs, I know I've got 2 of something that will go along with this. It might not be a super match. I was reading in the notes and it said that originally the pattern called for 4 different colors, and so it was later revised just to call for 2 skeins of 2 instead of 1 of 4. So I can probably play with that and find something in my stash. This is not new, but I had originally thought that it would pair well with the Mambo Madness that I already had, but I'm a little afraid that the contrast might be too stark. And they don't really have the same hues, so I'll think about it. I don't know. So that's one that I really want to cast on, which makes it imperative that I cast something off, I finish off, hopefully. Well, the cowl is much closer to being done, so I'll probably focus on that since I'm enjoying knitting on that far more than I am the Impressionist shawl. And then there were a couple other releases that used some of her gradient skein sets in she calls these toes. So they're meant for toes and heels of socks, and so they have gradient toe sets. And she had put this one up, which had all the beautiful, wonderful, amazing purples. I mean, they're really hard to see for the labels. Let's show off this one. You can kind of get an idea of what's going on here on the edge. And you know, there on the back is all the labels, so it's a little harder to see the colors. So there is this pack of 6 was sold together with this pack of 6, which are more wonderful, beautiful, amazing purples. You know how I love the purples. I was resisting this and resisting it and resisting it. And then I noticed that there was only one left, so I had to buy the last one. So she released another pattern that calls for one of these sets, just one, not both of them together. It's called Maritime or Maritima, something like that. And it's got a beautiful sort of a scallopy looking lace going on there, but it starts out with a garter tab cast on and more stockinettes. So I'm trying to decide if I can hack it so that the garter, I can make it stockinette instead of garter, because as we've previously discussed, I don't like garter stitch. I don't like it. I don't like the texture. I don't like bleh. So those are the two things that arrived this week, and I'm on yarn sabbatical. I'm done. I don't need to buy anything more. There will be more yarn. As a matter of fact, I spent quite a bit of time this week going through the yarn stash and entering everything into Ravelry. So I have a pretty good idea of what I've got going on now. So I should, you know, and it's a lot. I went from 0 skeins in January of 2018 to, I don't know how many skeins, but there are like over 100, and there's about 120, 125 types of yarn that I've got in my stash right now, so that's kind of a lot. It's faster to buy it than it is to knit it. Buy the pattern, buy the dream. Buy the yarn, buy the dream. It's all the same in all the crafts, isn't it, guys? So, new purchases. That's it for new purchases. Now, I remember last week when I was showing off my very giant winter brunch shawl, this big wonderful soft monster of everything, and how I was sad that we didn't have a polar vortex and it was kind of too warm out to wear this all up and snugly like I wanted to. Well, be careful what you wish for, my friends, because it decided to get cold and it decided to snow. Now, we didn't get nearly as polar vortex-y cold as y'all did over there in the Northeast, and we only got 5 or 6 inches, but it was enough to make the roads an absolute mess for a day or so. So I did get to wear this nice, warm, snuggly, wonderful thing for a couple days, all over the top of my coat and wrapped around my face. So, you know, all my eyeballs were showing here, and then I wore my hat, so, you know, it was just eyeballs. So be careful what you wish for. But it wasn't a hardship wearing this wonderful, squishy, wonderful shawl. Oh, so there we go. I think that's everything we have for knitting. I'll tidy up the mess just a touch, and we'll be right back. News, notes, and nonsense. I built the February bulletin board for the Relief Society with the announcements and the welcomes and the birthdays, and it turned out super cute. And I can't wait to show you guys at the end of February when I bring it home to set it up for March, so that's something to look forward to. My parents are going on a mission. They'll be gone for 18 months to 23 months, I forget which. They're going to the Fortaleza, Brazil mission. I believe they'll be working at the Fortaleza Temple, which is going to be dedicated June 2nd, and so that's kind of their departure date. So the random plan is for me to clean up all this stuff, pack it away into a storage unit, and move to their house while they're gone, and then to rent out my place as an income property also while they're gone, just to kind of, you know, look after their house and have my house remain a income, so I'm not losing money on like a mortgage when I'm not living here. So that's kind of what has started, and oh man, I tell you what, I'm already tired from dejunking everything. We started out in what we call the rock room, but what it really is like a crawl space. So it's about 4 feet from, you know, there's 4-foot foundation, and then it's under my parents' master bedroom, then there's the joists and whatever, and then it's just rocks, and it's kind of half excavated. And so we started cleaning out stuff, and I emptied 3 monstrous size boxes, mostly pillows, some decorations and random stuff that I had from when I had to sell my condo in Bountiful and move home after I had been laid off for like 18 months. So that was kind of interesting, you know, the stuff that when did we sell that? We sold that in 2011. So it was stuff that I hadn't seen for, what are we at? 6 years? 9 years? Not 9 years, it's 9 years, so 6 or 7 years. And so that was okay for letting that stuff go. So I feel good about that. I'm going to start doing the whole Marie Kondo thing, even though I really don't want to do the whole Marie Kondo thing because I love my stuff. But I need to pack everything up, get this place cleaned and tidy and ready to rent in about 3 months. I don't know how much crafting I'm going to get because I need to sort of like pack up a box or two every single day, really, is what it amounts to. And I should be just de-junking as I go. I don't cook, and I have so many cooking accoutrements and gadgets and plates and platters and this and that and the other. So it's exhausting to just think about it, and I'm already exhausted. So there's that. More adventures with the HOA. I just gotta love this. Let's see, I told you guys last week how they decided to implement a fee if you wanted to pay by credit card, and the accountant isn't set up to take payments by check, which is like the lamest thing ever. And so it has to be ACH and it has to be a pool, and I hate that with every single fiber of my being. But anyway, so that's, I think I told you that last week. This week she sent out a directive at 9 o'clock at night that basically said all grills must be removed from your balconies effective immediately. Like right now, and if they're not gone in by the morning, we are going to go around and start fining people. Excuse me, it's 9 o'clock at night. It is storming like a banshee out there. It was one of the nights when it was snowy and cold and rainy and just absolutely terrible out there. And I mean, what can you do? You can't get out there in the middle of the night. And I mean, I have a small portable grill. It's not a huge thing, but a lot of my neighbors have big, beautiful, you know, expensive grills. And I was like, what are they going to do with that at 9 o'clock at night, you know? And then, I don't know, plus a whole list of directives, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, we're banning this, we're charging fees for that, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was like a full page of paper of just random stuff. So I think with the grill directive, the poop really hit the fan, and people were angry, and I believe rightly so. And so the next email that we got, you know, came out at time-stamped at 2:30 in the morning. Of course, I was asleep. I was kind of angry when I went to sleep, but I was asleep, and she was just, you know, still being mad and just going back out to people, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she quoted something in the insurance. And so I understand that you cannot grill within 10 feet of flammable material. And unfortunately, our balconies, while they are 10 feet long and over 10 feet tall, they're maybe about 6 feet deep. So whatever's on the other side of your door is flammable. So you can't grill on your deck. But she's banned grills from being stored on your balcony. She's banned shoes, bikes. Bikes are another issue. Bikes. Basically anything and everything except for seating for two and a table. So you can have 2 chairs, or you can have a love seat, you can have sitting for 2 and a table. It's obnoxious, but like I say, I think the poop really hit the fan. And so you guys, you need to be on the lookout for me. Well, except I'm moving to rent, but you know, my civil disobedient self is going, we need to find the ugliest, the tackiest set of chairs and tables that we can possibly find to put out there on the balcony just to kind of goad her into it. You know, but her, you know, one of her next email misses has been like, I've been nothing but professional. No, 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 honey, you have not been professional. You have been dictatorial, heavy-handed, and completely and totally lacking in empathy. So some poor sap of a community member has volunteered to be the public relations board member. Public relations. She can't stay in the kitchen, so she's hired somebody else to take her heat. What the heck? I mean, come on. It's just, it's ridiculousness times 5 or 6. maybe 20. So we're just fighting that, and it makes me exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted, and I'm, you know, I'm thinking I need to rent my house for you know, a couple of years, and hopefully I can come back, and I'm pretty sure she's not going to be re-elected come October. We're having problems because she just unilaterally changes stuff in the CC&Rs, and we're pretty sure that the entire community needs to vote on changes to the CC&Rs before they can be affected or enacted. Yeah, I guess enacted is the proper word. And it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And I know some of you have commented either your own HOA woes, and I totally get you guys, I totally get it. And then others have said, well, this is why I like living not in an HOA. And you guys, I wish I could live in not an HOA. But being, you know, where I am in my life, and being the cost of housing around here, I really don't foresee myself being able to afford a single family home in a community that doesn't have an HOA. I'm always going to have to live in dense housing, either it be a condo situation like I'm in now, or in a townhouse situation, you know, where there's a lot of people close together and there's an HOA, because I don't want to mow the lawn. I don't know about you, but I hate mowing the lawn. I have no intention of ever mowing a lawn. So I'm talking about it really calmly because I've worked all my anger and annoyance out on it. But I mean, there were a few days where it was just, I just wanted to pull my hair out, egg her car, be really mean, but I have managed to not be really mean because apparently the rest of the community members are taking care of the mean for me. Now, we really shouldn't be mean, but I understand why they're being mean. We should be kind, but this is really annoying. Which doesn't mean that it's okay to be mean. I never should have voted her in. I should have said no. I should have said no. None of us knew what we were getting into when she proposed that we have a meeting and elect a new president, because we hadn't had a president for 2 years, and so everybody's like, oh, okay, and you're volunteering to do that, alright, so alright, whatever. And then, no, now we have fun. So there's that. One of the random things that I'm not too mad about is we have 2 more covered parking spots than there are apartment units. And so it was proposed that the 2 extra spots become places for bike racks. But the bike racks aren't going to be installed until May or so when the weather warms up. But you're not to store your bike on your balcony. You can't store your bike in your own personal carport. You can't store your bike out in the parking lot. You can't store your bike in the walkway or under the stairs, because who walks under the stairs? Anyway, so people are mad about that. But they finally decided to where they wanted to put the bike racks and relabeled all of the carports. Well, I knew this was coming, but they hadn't been really forthcoming about when it was coming. It was just one of those soon things that, you know, was in the back of my head because they sent out a survey. What do you think about this and that and the other as far as the parking and the bikes? And so I knew it was coming. I came home on Friday night or Friday evening after work, and I guess Friday day was the day where they decided to pull off all of the stickers, reorganize and relay. So I went to, I'm a landscape landmarks. So my parking spot was under, you know, they're all flat except for there's one that's kind of raised above the other, and my old spot was, you know, one that's raised above the other. So I'm just tooling around and I go to pull into my spot and I'm a little confused because why is my neighbor parked in my spot? They haven't done that in forever. And then, oh, I look up and it's all relabeled. So, oh, well, now I'm in a really awkward spot, so I have to back up and then kind of pull into my new spot. So I'm having a hard time learning how to park in my new spot because in my old spot there was a metal pillar on the driver's side that supports the carport, and I use that as my talisman is, okay, where do I turn and when do I stop? And so now that thing's over here on the passenger side, guys, I'm having the hardest time getting into my parking spot properly. I'm crowding my other neighbor who used to park in the spot that I now park. Everybody just moved over one. is basically what it was, is everybody just moved over one. So I'm having a hard time not crowding out my other neighbor because, guys, I cannot park without that pillar being right here by the driver's side, so I know where to go and where to stop and how far I am away. Oh, it's not that. It's not... I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Talked about the bulletin board. I'm sorry, I don't have Floobies. I have about 6, maybe 7 new Flosstubers all queued up in my watch later list, and I just haven't been able to watch you later. But I know you're out there. You're on my radar. I will get to you. I promise. All right, so I guess it's time for Battle Cow Adventures. This will probably be a really short one tonight. Well, because I only wrote like 2 or 3 words. Anyway, so the raid went off great on Sunday. We cleared the new normal raid all the way through Jaina Proudmoore, which is the last boss of the raid. It went really, really well, especially considering I hadn't seen two of the fights that we cleared. I hadn't seen those before, so I was kind of playing it by ear just because I missed the raid last Monday because I was talking to you, but we had our raid at the normal Sunday time, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we got 6, 7 pulls in on Jaina. We got her down pretty close to defeating Jaina. We don't kill Jaina, we just defeat her because she retreats at 5%, runs away, blah, 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 whatever. So what I have learned is that my spatial awareness is terrible. Absolutely terrible. They'll be saying, don't stand in front of this, and I'm already dead because I was standing in front of whatever it is. But granted, whatever it was like clearing the heck over there, and I was trying to break one of my other fellow raiders out of an ice block so that they could help with the DPSing, and next thing I know, I'm dead. I feel terrible because I'm usually dead in the first phase. I need to get better. This is why I only raid on normal and maybe heroic, is because I'm bad, you guys. I'm out and out just bad. But I think also one of the things is we keep sort of dying to attrition because you're out on a frozen lake is where this battle, the last fight, takes place. And so if you're away from your group or your buddies, you get cold and you get ice stacks, freezing something, I don't know. You get cold stacks. And so when you get up to a certain number of cold stacks, you freeze, and then your health just sort of kicks slower, and then you dead. So that's that. I think if I had better spatial awareness, and if we could manage to stick together, you know, right close to each other, because if you have, when we were watching the Mythic World First Race, the commentators kept calling them cuddle buddies. So, you know, always have another player go out, you know, close to you, have your cuddle buddy there. So if we could stick together, you know, 2 or 3 together at all times, it would be fine. We can't. And so it's really a race against the, you know, the loss of attrition as everybody sort of gets too far apart and starts to freeze. And there's less of us and more people freeze and more people are dead and we don't beat the fight. But maybe next week we'll get to it. So that should be fun. Should be fun. I believe that is it. I'm gonna have a drink of my emergency because we're on like day 892 of the winter cold. It's really how it goes. Here's a quick break. So that's everything for tonight. I hope you guys had a really good week, and I hope the next upcoming week is also really, really good for you. I'm looking forward to going to Stitcher's Paradise in Vegas this weekend with my best friend. It'll be really interesting because we will have 2 older teenagers, an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old with us, and so they're kind of at that age that they really are not going to be interested in the craft store at all. So I don't know what we're going to do with them while we go to the craft store. So we'll see about this. I kind of wanted to go to the yarn store, but I've given up any hope of actually going to the yarn store because of my best friend's daughter and daughter's boyfriend. But we'll see. We shall see. Is that everything? I think that's everything. And I know I did the is that everything thing already. You guys be good. You guys be kind. Remember, 1 step forward, 1 step up. No night lasts forever. The sun always rises, right? We could sing, what is it, Alphaville? The sun always shines on TV. Is it Alphaville? Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. You'll correct me down in the comment box. As always, I'll have more details about my projects and stuff, and normally there will be links to the Floobies when I have them. I put a couple links down there to some Amazon items, like my spring tension hoops you can get on Amazon. 2 days, super quick. There's a Lowry stand, you know, stuff that I use that I like, that I think would be useful to you. So, you know, go have a look-see, go click on them. Ardith over at Ardith Designs released a a book that has, you know, list your project and, you know, stuff like that, that I'm thinking about getting, because I haven't been doing so good electronically keeping track of my stuff. So maybe we'll try that. I really wish there was like a Ravelry for cross stitch. And I know about 2 or 3 years ago there was one under development, but I never knew what happened to it, you know. It was there. I know a couple Flosstubers were in beta testing of it, and then it just kind of disappeared. So that would be really nice if we had something like that. I would love that. I would love that a lot. Okay. I love you guys. Keep on doing good. Fighting the good fight. Being the good person. I know it's not easy. You see it with me in my struggles against the HOA president. I need to be the better, nicer person. It's hard. I get it. I hope you get plenty of time this week to craft to your little heart's content and bring that little bit of joy into your life. I hope that frog stays far, far away from you. Thanks to everybody who likes and comments and subscribes. I wish I could give you all a big old hug in a non-creepy pedophile type of way. Just a big old, a mom hug. We'll call him a mom hug. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Hugs and stitches. Bye.